Hi, I'm Christina Chong, founder of Renaissance Admissions Consulting. Today, I'm going to talk about the U.S. Supreme Court decision regarding race-based affirmative action and how admissions processes might change going forward. In June 2023, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that race-based affirmative action, defined in this case as the policy of favoring individuals of underrepresented backgrounds who have been subject to discrimination and/or lack of opportunity, is no longer legal in the arena of admissions to universities and graduate programs, except for when applying to military colleges. In these two cases, known as Students for Fair Admissions versus President and Fellows of Harvard College, as well as Students for Fair Admissions versus University of North Carolina, the Supreme Court justices who argued to end affirmative action said that these colleges were not following the 14th Amendment, which guarantees equal protection by the government. They struck down the use of race-based affirmative action for admissions, but they do allow race to be part of a holistic review. Chief Justice John Roberts Jr. wrote it was acceptable in considering, quote, in an applicant's discussion of how race affected his or her life, be it through discrimination, inspiration, or otherwise. Ellipsis. A benefit to a student who overcame racial discrimination, for example, must be tied to that student's courage and determination. Ellipsis. In other words, the student must be treated based on his or her experiences as an individual, not on the basis of race. End quote. This is a very big change based on decades of U.S. higher education practicing race-based affirmative action and choosing whom to accept. What do I anticipate in terms of changes to application processes going forward for U.S. colleges and graduate schools? First, essay prompts will change significantly and become even more important in the application process. In the past, certain essay prompts have asked for how an applicant contributes to the diversity of the class. There most likely will be more essays about how the subject of race has influenced an applicant's life or has shaped their character or leadership qualities, as the most recent Supreme Court decision allowed this instance to be considered. It may be challenging to write an essay that captures this experience without oversharing or being too focused on traumatic circumstances. It will be a fine balancing act to make sure the narrative is conveyed in a way that seems genuine and authentic to the applicant's experience. So my word of advice is that you want to show your life in a way that, despite any challenges, ends on an uplifting note to admissions to demonstrate how you have overcome obstacles and changed your perspective while showing grit and determination in pursuing a particular path. Second, many schools will choose to hide the race of the applicant as a checkbox on their application forms. So starting in August 2023, the Common Application, which is the main application portal that U.S. colleges use to apply to their schools, has decided to give colleges the option to hide this section with the race checkboxes from members of their admissions staff. This move is seen as helping to prevent future lawsuits against colleges regarding the use of race in admissions processes. However, keep in mind that U.S. colleges and graduate schools are still required to report the race of their classes to the U.S. government, and that the applicants can still talk about race in their application essays, as well as the recommendation writers for the applicant can choose to write about the race of the applicant in their letters as well, if they choose to do so. 3, colleges will need to do more targeted recruitment. Colleges have engaged in the past in particular outreach towards racial minorities, but they will need to be more creative in their ways to reach out to potential applicants because of the U.S. Supreme Court decision banning race-based affirmative action. Perhaps they could do specific engagement with community colleges, which traditionally have enrolled a large number of under-resourced students. Or they could visit high schools in under-resourced areas and create more programs that are designed to support these students through their higher education years. Fourth, colleges will perhaps focus more on class as a factor. There is quite like a wealth disparity at top colleges. In fact, some colleges have more students in the top 1% of the income bracket in the U.S. than the bottom 60% of U.S. society. Perhaps class will be even more of a factor in admissions, and schools could focus on more low-income students who have less access to education. More colleges could adopt a system in rating a student and how many disadvantages they have faced in their life while obtaining opportunities for an education. There could be more fundraising to support scholarships for lower income students, as well as more demographic data immediately available to admissions officers to show what the income levels are like in that particular applicant's community, in terms of, as well as how many students get free lunch, so that colleges can make more informed decisions about diversifying their classes. Number 5, momentum is increasing on the movement to end legacy admissions. And race-based affirmative action being struck down by the U.S. Supreme Court, there is a movement to end legacy admissions, which is the practice of U.S. colleges and graduate schools granting a boost to alumni children in applying and being accepted. As of July 2023, the U.S. Department of Education has opened a civil rights investigation regarding Harvard College's legacy admission policy in response to the claim by the Boston-based nonprofit Lawyers for Civil Rights that Harvard discriminates on the basis of race by giving a boost to donors and legacies in their college admissions process. The truth of the matter is that very few U.S. colleges and graduate schools have done away with this practice because they like creating a strong alumni network and devoting ties over the generations to their school, and it can help with alumni fundraising. So only a very small number of colleges have done away with legacy admissions at this time. But if there is a lawsuit that progresses, it is possible that this practice would be overturned in the future. Number 6, there may be even more emphasis on athletic recruiting on the undergraduate level. The U.S. is unique in having so much emphasis on sports at the college level. I believe sports will remain a strong factor in U.S. admissions and may even increase influence as colleges want to field strong athletic teams, and these students do have a particular skill the college wants to promote school spirit and fundraising. So given that admissions based on affirmative action has now been impacted and that legacy admissions might be next, I believe sports will hold on and may have even greater importance since they are related to a skill that colleges highly covet. And when schools have successful sports teams, it may influence alumni giving. In conclusion, there has been a huge acceleration of changes impacting the U.S. admissions process in the last few years and a reevaluation of how candidates are selected. I believe that test optional will be here to stay for many colleges, as it gives them the freedom to select the students they want in aiming for a particular enrollment profile while maintaining their target median scores for the class, and the likelihood that legacy admissions will be altered significantly in the coming years. If you have any questions or would wish to work with a higher education admissions expert for college, law school, or dental school, you can contact me at www.renaissanceadmconsulting.com. Thank you.